we don't have a daycare as such right now. After the expansion of these buildings through the capital campaign that Captain White has been sharing with you, we hope to have our own Salvation Army daycare in East Nashville. We have, for the past 8 or 9 years, had Metro Head Start in our building. It's been a terrific program. We've served usually 100 children per year, and it was quite a emotional moment for us to see them have to move their equipment lately in efforts for us to have our campaign, our building. But after this is built back, we hope to gear up and go again and still serve that part of the East Nashville community.
Captain White, if you had an opportunity to simply say to the general viewing area, make a plea for the Salvation Army, what would be your major plea in terms of your organization, your needs, and your desires for the entire Nashville area?
Well, let's say beyond the obvious continual support financially, when they see the kettle out there during Christmas time, or they may get a letter in the mail about sending a kid to camp, their personal involvement by contributing their own time, especially at the center. They operate with a minimum of staff. They have 3 full-time people and then about 4 or 5 part-time people throughout the year who try to handle and maintain programming for 400 or 500 kids a night. It's unbelievable the job they do. There's really an urgent need for people to get personally involved and come over to for instance, the Magnus Center to give their time and to be involved in cooking class, tutoring, or just sit around chat with the kids or play with them or be involved in some way. So beyond, what most organizations need, a financial need, just some personal commitment of maybe coming down and seeing firsthand what goes on and rolling up their sleeves and getting involved with the youth and with the other programs that we offer.
What about you, Mr. Vincent?
I agree with Captain White and what he's saying. I think beyond, as he said, the obvious financial support is I'd like for folks to recognize all that the Salvation Army does stand for, that our primary mission is service to people, and that's what we're there for. It's not always a handout, as one of our staff members has indicated. It's not a handout, but it's a hand up, and that's what we're in business for. And through the latchkey children for them that come to our center, we would shudder to think where many of them would be if that door were not open. And so when we were looking for location for these new centers to be built, we said, leave us where we are, where the need is.
And I think that's a very good attitude, and I think that's the attitude that we'll have to close out today by saying that we are delighted to have had an opportunity to talk to both of you about the activity of the Salvation Army. I think that there's one thing, before we go, we might have another couple of minutes here. Before we go, Mr. Vincent, you mentioned latchkey kids. Perhaps you could sort of expound upon that over the next minute or so.
Most folks think of latchkey children primarily while the school year is going on. In other words, they come home from school, no one's home, they're left to fend for themselves, and they have to find their own way home, and they're there alone. And of course, idle time is an opportunity to get into a number of things that perhaps we shouldn't be. So the community center is open as soon as school is out. They're welcome to stay there till 9:30 in the evening, and we're happy to have those programs available for them. In the summertime, I assume that they would be latchkey all day long and have nothing to do most of that day. So that's why we open our doors at 7:30 in the morning.
I'd like to have the telephone number, if you have it, for getting in touch with you concerning the day camp or any of the other activities that you've talked about.
For day camp or volunteer services to offer, we'd be happy to have you at 255-0554. I
think there's a number on the screen there for both the Salvation Army and for the Magnus Center. The Salvation Army number is 242-0411, and the Magnus Center number is 255-0554. And if either of you have anything else to add to the program, I think we'll have to close by saying that we're delighted to have had you, and that we do hope that the information that you've given us will be a blessing to our entire viewing area.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And this is Dr. Haney for Black Pulse saying good night.